Yo guys, what's up? First of all, as always, I just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers, everyone liking, commenting on my posts, and whatnot. Um, you might know that yesterday I released a second music video for my song Mellow, which came out. Well, it came out yesterday. Yeah, I released that music video to go along with it. I've played it on this channel before on one of my videos. It's like kind of jazz rap, hip hop kind of tune. Some would say it's some of my best. I really appreciate the feedback I've got on Instagram from some of my friends. You know who you are if you give them feedback, so thank you for that. But yeah, so I released that song yesterday and a music video. It's finally out. I'm gonna leave the link to it down below as well as my general page on Spotify. Hopefully I do. But what I want to talk about today, the topic of this video, I know I always do topics, but stay with me. The topic of this video is going to be my introduction to music throughout the years, basically. Might be a long video, we'll see. So, as a kid, well actually like as a toddler probably, like when I was very, very young, my first proper introduction to music was from my parents. It usually is from your parents. But the first song I ever remember listening to, excuse me, was Superstition by Stevie Wonder, which is an amazing song. The first time I heard that, or the first few times, which is what I can remember, my parents used to dance around the room with me and play that. It was great. It was great. I mean, how do I describe that song? It's just incredible. The instrumentation, the chords, the key. Oh my god. Yeah, so Superstition by Stevie Wonder, and then it was High Ground from Innovisions. And then I think I was played a bit of Songs in the Key of Life. I'm really got Spotify because I'm gonna be honest, I can't remember. But Sir Duke, also Duke, was like also another banger that I was introduced to as a toddler. But yeah, I mean, those are the three songs I can remember first of all. And then I was playing a lot of the Beatles, I think from Let It Be, Abbey Road, and maybe a bit of Sergeant Pepper's, if anyone can. I don't know if anyone knows that. I'm sure you do if you're watching this. Who am I to ask? But yeah, those were the first few songs that I remember being played, and then as I got older, I have loads of memories of more kind of rock and alternative based stuff. Everlong by the Foo Fighters, and I think it is The Pretender, were songs that my mum used to play in the car all the time. Like we'd be blasting that on the way home, on the way to somewhere. When I would visit relatives in Norwich before I actually went to live there, we'd play that song all the time, and I was just fascinated by the tone on the guitars. I didn't learn guitar till I was 14, but it was just like how they creating this, how are these tones being made. I mean, I never actually thought that much into how the music was made at that age. I feel like some people think musical prodigies or people who just make music in general, artists, like from a young age, they're always thinking about, oh, how was this made? These sounds, how can I do this? Nah, I was just a kid. I was just a kid in the car, just vibing along to the Foo Fighters and thinking, this is amazing. But I'm not really thinking about how they made this. I'm just thinking about the guitars, the drums, the bass. And then again, I didn't even know the names of instruments and stuff, effects. You know, you don't really know that as a kid unless you get really invested or you come from a musical family. And the funny thing is, talking about musical families, I did not come from a musical family at all. Like, my parents didn't play anything. I mean, I say that actually about musical family. What is a musical family? I guess it's people. If I'm speaking too fast, I apologise. I guess it's people who play, parents who play instruments, right, or your siblings or whatever. But I mean, my parents' music taste is amazing. Like, the foundation of my music taste is definitely from them. You know, if I hadn't heard Foo Fighters, I don't think I'd be doing the kind of making the kind of music I do now. Um, but yeah, I wasn't from a family who played instruments or were involved in the music industry or anything like that, and it actually took me a while to kind of warm up to playing instruments and learning. But when I entered primary school, I started the violin, which was it was an experience because I liked playing the violin, but the teacher would always make me learn these classical, really old classical pieces, and I wanted to just do my own thing, and it's been like that ever since. Really, any instrument I pick up, or if someone asks me to learn a song, I don't really want to learn the song, but I kind of want to know this chord so I can put it in my own work, if that makes sense. So yeah, and around that time at primary school, I remember my dad started playing us Gorillas, specifically Demon Days, Feel Good Inc., Dirty Harry, Oh Green World, some of my favourite songs to this day, and they were kind of, I don't remember if some of the songs were explicit. Maybe Feel Good Inc. isn't, I can't really remember, but that was again complete different kind of type of music, because I'd heard Stevie Wonder a few years back, and then Foo Fighters, and now I'm hearing this mashup of like Feel Good Inc. It's like, to me it was rock, right, or alternative, or whatever. Obviously, I wasn't pulling those names out of my brain as a child, but I heard that, and then there was a rapper on Feel Good Inc. There was a rapping on it, and I think that was like my first introduction to rapping as well. Like someone speaking, but they're making it as really. I don't know how to explain this. I'll explain rap. Someone was speaking, but they were rhyming, and they were doing it so well, and to me that was incredible. So, really good music taste. And I mean, that continued. My parents would play all of these different albums, Fleetwood Mac, Queens of the Stone Age, more Beatles, maybe no, I was going to say the Rolling Stones, but so I don't think my parents like, probably, I don't think my parents like Rolling Stones, liked and still don't like, but yeah, that continued up until around secondary school, or high school, if there are any Americans watching. And during high school, I think I was listening to, I don't know if anyone knows what AMVs are. I don't really know what they stand for, if they stand for anything. But I was obsessed with Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I still kind of am. It's like one of my favourite shows of all time. But I used to watch these AMVs on YouTube, on an iPad. And there was music as part of the AMVs, right? It was these, portions of the Clone Wars that had been cut up and they'd be made into one little video. But the songs on there, I feel like they were metal, a lot of them. I mean, one of them, if I say this is metal and it's not metal, I don't mean to offend anyone in here who's like hardcore metal. But there was a song called Time of Dying by 3 Days Grace, I think that's the band. I loved that song so much. I recently just went back and listened to it because I remembered what it was called, but I don't know if that's metal or just really hard rock, but I listened to that, I found it amazing. Now, when my music taste really started to like truly develop into my own, and not as much as my parents' influences, was when I moved to Norwich around, I think, 12, 13. So when I got to Norwich, I got my own iPad, which was great, I still have it with me. And I think I just branched out, the YouTube recommended, the algorithm was really helping me out. I was listening to a few Black Sabbath songs, a bit more rap. I can't remember exactly the artist, but I think I was listening to more rap. And then in 2020, the year of COVID and everything else that happened, my mum introduced me to Tame Impala. Oh my goodness, I remember the first time, because it was when the Slow Rush came out in 2020, when Kevin Parker basically predicted lockdown and COVID and everything. I listened to one of the songs on that album today. It's still an amazing album, still holds up. I mean, all of his work holds up. But yeah, we listened to the Slow Rush in the car, And I think that's really, at that point, what inspired me to go, okay, how did he make this? What can I do to make it? And it was also the fact that it just sounded like a band to me, you know, and then going home and finding out I was just one guy. At that point, I decided to explore his whole catalogue. I went back to Inner Speaker, Lonerism, Currents, and I think Lonerism is my favourite album of the, I want to say 4. Okay, I think there might be an EP in there as well, but Lonerism, definitely. And then, yeah, I mean, after Lonerism, I definitely started developing, I got more taste to the music that I listened to, and I got Spotify. We got a Spotify premium account, and so I was able to go on the recommendations, go past Tame Impala, and listen to everything. Now it gets kind of blurry as well during secondary school, high school, because I also can't really remember what I was listening to. I think I was kind of at an everywhere point. I was listening to a lot of the Beatles, but I was going back to Stevie Wonder, and I got introduced to Oasis, like Wonderwall, which I'd never heard up until that point. I was like 14, 15 at that time. I was listening to a bit of Nirvana. I'm listening to a lot of Nirvana now. I was definitely listening to more rock, and then after secondary school, I went into college, right? And again, you know, my music taste expanded a lot more. You meet new people. I met Sam. I met Noah. Shout out to both of them. They're amazing. Noah is the best beat makers in Norwich, the best producers, and Sam is one of the best artists and producers I've ever met. I mean, Noah's an artist too, what am I saying? We're all artists. I met Dan, I met, you know, everyone, all these sick artists, and so music tastes would collide. I discovered JPEG Mafia, Jean Dawson, Solange. I don't know why I threw her in there. I know only 2 of her songs. I need to go back and listen to her. I listened to more jazz, old jazz, new jazz, for samples, because I was going to college to learn music production. So that's when my music taste really expanded. And then the last year or so, I've been on a really alternative route in terms of music. I've been listening to a lot of alternative rock, indie, pop, bedroom, whatever you call it. Especially Jean Dawson. Shout out Jean Dawson. I will shout him out multiple times on this channel in future videos, I'm sure, because he just does what he wants, and people call him like alternative and experimental pop, but him and a range of other artists just kind of mashing up genres but making it work at the same time, which was incredible to me because it really inspired me. And at the moment, going to the present, what I've been listening to is, I'd say, shoegaze, which I was introduced to a few years ago when Only Shallow was played in the car on a random drive, and I thought, what is this? I think I've talked about it before. But shoegaze, grunge, going back to Nirvana, and just rediscovering their sounds from In Utero and Nevermind. So shoegaze, grunge, Midwest emo very recently, the last few months. Didn't really know what that was. I heard emo and I thought, it's kind of, honestly, not for me. But I listened to it and I thought, oh my god, it's fast-paced. Time signatures are odd time signatures. These guys are screaming into their mics. It sounds really lo-fi and kind of low quality, but in a great way. It's really raw. And I guess alternative as a whole, indie, bedroom pop. But yeah, I hope that kind of discussion has been coherent. There are some bits where I trailed off, and there's a lot of artists and music that I can't really remember, which is odd because I talk about music all the time. But that's kind of been my progression into what I listen to nowadays, the music I make, what I like to make, I'm still trying to start a band, I know, to kind of go off conversation a bit, still trying to find a band. So, if you're watching this, you live in London, maybe East London specifically, and you're trying to start a band that's like shoegaze, grunge, Midwest emo-ish, then DM me on Instagram or go in the comments and say you want to talk. But yeah, that's kind of the music I make today, and that's the journey I've had, which has been a really interesting journey from Stevie Wonder, Beatles, Gorillaz to Gene Dawson, a lot more rap as well, and just making my own music based off of those influences. So yeah, it's been a pretty weird journey, but it's been a pretty cool journey at the same time. So yeah, that's kind of been the point of this video. I hope you enjoyed this talk, and I'll see you guys later. Alright, peace.